Welcome to today's Sabbath School Lesson study for April 30th, 2015. That's Thursday's lesson. And it's entitled, The Sabbath Day, the Sick versus the Ox and the Donkey. Now in this lesson we take a look at two Sabbath day healings that are only recorded by the biblical author Luke. And these two healings are found in Luke chapter 13, verses 10 through 16, and Luke 14, verses 1 through 15. Now, the topic of this is, or the focus that we're supposed to be looking at is, how easy is it to have righteous indignation? Sometimes we may be quick to say that this is not of God, or that's not of God, or you're breaking the law when you do this. But we have to be really careful when we say things like that. We have to really look into our word and have an understanding of, when I'm speaking to somebody with in this righteous indignation, am I truly right? So in these two situations, Jesus Christ heals two individuals, and just like in yesterday's lesson, the Pharisees are accusing Jesus Christ of breaking the Sabbath because he's healing on the Sabbath day. The first situation comes in Luke chapter 13, verses 10 through 16, where he heals a crippled woman. Now, this woman was crippled for 18 years. And having to live a life like this for 18 years, not being able to live like a normal person, hoping and dreaming that one day you'll be able to be healed, to live a normal life. And then you hear about this individual that's healing people, this individual that's doing amazing things, healing the blind, bringing people back from the dead, all these kinds of things. And you come to this person on the Sabbath day and you ask to be healed. Would it fill you with any joy if the person told you, listen, wait one more day and I'll come back and heal you because today I got, it's my Sabbath, I have to rest from my work. You wouldn't feel good. It would hurt you. And it's a person that wants to see someone healed. It should break your heart to have to, I can't do it right now. You have to go one more day with that infirmity that you've had for 18 years, and with that anticipation that you've had of coming to be healed. You need to just hold on to it for a little while longer. But again, Jesus Christ is telling us that we're supposed to be doing good works on the Sabbath. As he healed on the Sabbath, we're supposed to be visiting the sick and feeding the poor and doing all these kinds of outreach, this outreach work that is work for him, the kinds of works that we're supposed to be doing on the Sabbath day. Now, he heals this woman, and the Pharisees accuse him again of breaking the Sabbath because he healed this woman. So Jesus Christ responds to them to point their focus on something, because they're missing, they're so legalistic that they've lost a sense of reality. Now, before they would go to church or before they would do whatever it is that they needed to do on the Sabbath day, because they're leaving their home and they own land and they have cattle and oxen, they would loose their cattle and oxen so that they can get water and so that they can graze on the grass. And it's a type of work. You have to go out into the field and do a chore. So Christ said, you go out and you do this on the Sabbath day before you go off to the temple. You loose your oxen. Now, this is a daughter of Abraham. This is one of God's children. Why would I not loose her from the bounds that Satan has held her in for over 18 years? Is she not worth more to you than an ox? Is she not worth more to be loosed than your oxen? And they were not able to answer him because they knew that he was correct, and they saw their hypocrisy. And of course, it didn't convict them. It made them even more angry. But he showed them their hypocrisy, and he showed them how much more a human life is worth than an animal. And that's how far that their righteous indignation had brought them to believe that their animals were worth more than a human being. The second instance that we see is in Luke chapter 14, verses 1 through 15, where an individual with a dropsy came to be healed by Christ. Now, what dropsy is excess fluid building up generally around your feet and in your legs. So it's probably hard for this individual to walk. And Christ goes to heal this individual, and the Pharisees are sitting and they're waiting for Christ to heal this individual so that they can accuse him of breaking the Sabbath. So he heals the individual, they accuse him of breaking the Sabbath, and he paints this analogy. He says, if your ox falls into a pit on the Sabbath day, would you not pull the ox out of the pit? And because it's their responsibility, it's because it's their property, it's not something that they would have left there. If they left the ox in the pit, the ox would have died. So the Pharisees, knowing that they themselves would have pulled the ox out of the pit, they could not answer back to Christ. And Christ said, how much more is that ox worth than this human being? And again, he pointed them to where their minds was, because of their righteous indignation. They lost the value of human life. They lost the value of compassion. They lost the value of the love of God for individuals, man and animal alike. And it teaches us a lesson where righteous indignation can bring us. It can bring us to lose the connection that we're supposed to have between our fellow man, especially with young people. When older people see young people do things and they have this righteous indignation towards them, and they break the relationship that they have with the young, where there's now a gap between young and old. This is why we need to look at ourselves and really see, is what we're saying or what we're doing, one, is it biblical? Because God asked the Pharisees also, where is it unlawful for, where does it say that it's unlawful for healing to be done on the Sabbath? And they could not answer him because there was nowhere in the Bible where it said that it was unlawful for that to happen on the Sabbath. And I can think of some things in church that, church leaders or older individuals have said to me, where I think to myself, where is that said in the Bible? But they've said it with such strict righteous indignation because they grew up on a tradition outside of biblical principles. And that makes the faith distasteful to others who may be looking to come in, or it may make the faith distasteful to people who are not really strong in it or know it for themselves. So we must be careful with righteous indignation.